Good afternoon. We have a very interesting debate right now. We will be talking about women in STEM and the focus on how to combine technology, business, and academia without borders. Together with me, there are wonderful women with exciting experience and career, Kinga, Eva, and Dorota. And I think we should start the first round of the first question and the first round with presenting yourself and talking about where you're from and what is your journey, taking into account this three perspective: business, technology, and academia. So I start with Kinga.
I represent Polish Space Professionals Association as well as CGI Poland. The association gathers space folks, those who work in very different technical roles, but not only technical. I work in space sector for almost 10 years, so I feel like a dinosaur. On the other side, CGI is IT company, software house. Thank you.
Okay, Eva.
Hello everyone, Eva Siwiec. I represent Digital Hub at Bayer, where I am a product manager, where I link IT with science. I am responsible for the regulatory information management system, for its maintenance, as well as the development to make sure that regulatory affairs colleagues are able to secure our products throughout their life cycle, the consumer health products. Thank you.
And Dorota?
Hello, I'm Dorota Dardzińska. I'm CEO of IQ Biozoom. This is a startup which develops biosensing technology for non-invasive real-time diagnostics at home. And we work on the technology which allows to measure the levels of selected biomarkers in our body to monitor our health in very comfortable way at home or wherever we are. So this technology is now in progress, under development. And what we want to do is we want to make diagnostics more accessible, more democratic, and more comfortable for everyone.
Okay, thank you. So the first question will focus on the secret source of collaboration, technology, academia, and business. We are hearing, reading that lots of people complain and see, disadvantages of this collaboration. But I would like to know, because each of your business area of activity connects this area. So maybe I start with Kinga.
Thank you. Yes, collaboration in space sector is crucial. There is no development, no mission without collaboration. And there are different actors like academia and industry, SMEs, whoever can bring a new perspective, some knowledge, and knowledge how to do things. So I listened to Dorota, for example, and it reminds me the Ignis mission on ISS, Polish mission to ISS with Sławosz Wiśniewski-Uznański, because that was also a mission where 13 experiments were conducted. And to make happen these 13 experiments, Sławosz on ISS, almost 500 people work on that from very different angles. Of course, lawyers, technicals, those who know how to integrate experiments to ISS, European Space Agency, Polish Space Agency, scientists and technical folks, 500 people, even more. And this is what we are dealing in space very often. The smallest mission that it's launched to space needs the collaboration. But then to use the technology, for example, space observation from space, the Earth, or navigation, we also need collaboration. Probably you check weather every day. To make weather available on your phone, we need scientists, we need meteorological services, we need those who design spacecrafts and launch them to space. We need trust, and we need to talk to each other about needs. we can use space data also to optimize how we live in the cities. But we wouldn't do that if we don't know what's the problem, what's the challenge, if we are not open for others. So frankly, I hope that space can teach other sectors how to collaborate. And other sectors, of course, can bring different perspective to space.
Okay, thank you. Eva, what about you and your secret sauce for, combining these three areas?
So I have a feeling that all three of us will have very similar perspective, and this is great to hear from what you mentioned, Kinga, but also Dorota. I saw on your website the big banner that behind every technology there is a team, and this is exactly what is my secret sauce. So there is a lot of focus on soft skills where I need to be able to connect the dots. I need to be able to understand the big picture, the context, understand the needs of the business stakeholders, and then articulate it clearly to the very diverse IT team as well. How we managed to make it successful is by creating one team together with the business stakeholders. So we managed to get away from this traditional mindset where business stakeholders are our customer and we in IT are the service delivery. So this is not the case in how we set up the work together with the business stakeholders. We formed one team. We co-created the vision. So we all work towards the same goal. And we really highlight the values we all work together, which is trust, appreciation, partnership, respect. Because in such an environment, in this trust-based environment, you are able to co-create, to be creative and innovative. And this is how these great solutions come to picture.
Great. So we have teamwork. So we have you know how to collaborate. But in your
I would add to those two secret sauces the third one, which is clashing perspectives. And what I mean, when I'm thinking about cosmic technologies, for instance, I always imagine, big team with interdisciplinary team with people from many, many different, not only disciplines connected with science, but also disciplines connected with life and with very, very different experience. And that's why I think that especially when you build a technology from scratch, like IQ Biozoom, when we start from ground zero, you have to, or it's good to source from different experiences, not only from academia, not only from business, but also mixing such disciplines like humanistic disciplines and hard skills, soft skills and hard skills. And I'm a big fan of hybrid teams, which are composed from young talents and from experts, but that must be a mix, and from people who has experience in communication, marketing, sales, and engineers. So just clashing these perspectives can benefit with new ideas, with real innovations, with some new unexpected fruits, results. So building companies as a hybrid of many competences can be, for us, very surprising in the best way.
Great. Kinga?
Yes, I totally agree. I have to add that in space, when we work on mission, usually what we share, it's a passion. We see the goal, but it's very high-level perspective. We want to go to observe the sun weather, solar weather, or we want to observe the Earth, high level. Then we go down to the organizations. And again, in the organization, in team, everything gets complicated. Because how to bring all those people with different motivation all together, how to enable these hybrid teams to feel like they can share, to empower them, to actually bring this extra value that they need for the projects. The high perspective space, everyone loves space, but when you go down, that's the hard part.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. And this is exactly this moment when you have to answer, your team have to answer on a question why you do this. And if this why, if the answer is similar, then you can find, the same direction why you do this. And if we don't believe in the same thing, it's very hard because, all those differences are like, obstacles which occurs and which can stop the development on your project and so on. So why you do this? And if for your team, for your company is the same, means the same for everyone, that's the first step for a success. Yeah.
I think that you mentioned very important things. That is, one vision, the purpose, motivation, collaboration, diversity. But there is also one thing: determination, persistence, motivation. How about that? How do you feel? Because from my perspective, when I was doing my PhD, one professor said, it's not about the most clever of you who will finish, who will be on the, at the end. There will be those with determination, motivation. And from your perspective, is it also needed for the secret sauce? Because team, of course, diversity, of course, and the purpose. What about from your perspective? Maybe it has changed, or maybe it is in your era quite different.
I would say motivation, definitely. And when on one of the interviews when I was recruited, I was asked, what does it make you smile when you come to work? And I think this is what, on one hand, we need to answer to ourselves to find the right place for ourselves. But on the other hand, as leaders in these positions, to be able to take someone else's perspective and try to see that, how to motivate the team. And actually, I mentioned teamwork at the beginning, and I would really stick to that the good atmosphere and working together, this is the greatest motivation. Even in these nitty-gritty things, if we lose sight of the vision and we need to remind ourselves, if we are together in that, it's much easier.
And how about space, the determination, persistence, and motivation?
Oh gosh, it's a super hard question because, NASA named one of the rovers Perseverance because it takes so much to learn how to land on Mars or how to launch something to space. Usually, even software projects are no shorter than 2 years. Because this is the time you need to evaluate your to evaluate your code and to teach algorithm reading imagery. And then when we talk about missions, often it's like 13 years, 20 years. So whoever is patient and it's not afraid to get old in a mission, that's space is for you, definitely. But honestly, it's very important. However, it's nothing if you don't have a goal, if you don't have the star to which you are going. So finding the goal, I think finding it and having this why answer is crucial. And don't get me wrong, the goal might be testing different roles. That's also fine. Or enabling someone else to do great things. That's also fine. But still, you need to identify yourself with the goal and trust yourself that you are going in the right direction.
Okay. And Dorota, how about you? Because you are in the hard part of innovation, so some kind of hardware I can
when
call
we have to fight for every day of existing. Okay. Yeah. Yesterday, I've read somewhere that the most wanted competency of the future will be mental resistance. Mm-hmm. And I agree with this because especially when you develop deep tech technology, you have to be very consistent, especially when it happens when you stay lonely, when you have to face with the problems which are not known or well known when you are in big company. So you have to be mentally resistant, but how to, or from where you can take a power or a strength to be resistant and to be consistent and to be strong. And I think that there are relations, and they can come from a team, from company, from peers. But I think that the relations are very important to build as a, your own, your personal loop of friends, like something, something which is very focused on your own, and it could be your friends, it could be your family, it could be your peers, it could be your mentors. But I think that it's important to have such a close little loop just for you to take a strength from them.
Great.
If I may add to that, just to build on that, because I couldn't agree more, what I would add is to start with self-awareness, and then based on this developed self-awareness, self-consciousness, you are able to build this mental resistance. So get curious to know yourself, how you react, what are your challenges, the strengths, the blind spots, and then having this foundation, you can grow and develop the resilience. Yeah,
definitely true. Yeah.
But again, I will add that the group of friends, it's always very helpful. The network, people who you can reach to and say, hey, I have a problem. But this ability also to speak and trust that it's not everything that you have to do by yourself. It's also a very important part. And then having some trusted person. It does not have to be a person from our field or from our company. The best if it's not from our company, because it brings other perspective. It means that when we are in any role, but in leadership position especially, we tend to not see everything. But with trusted person, we get this perspective. We can see more.
Thank you very much. I think that this question connected, with how to collaborate with this academia, technology, and business words brings some new perspective on this era, because generally people talk about lack of money. Academia is focusing on their own, but you mentioned quite different things. There is teamwork, diversity, purpose. You mentioned, but also the relationship, mental. Good health or good mental quality. And this is really interesting because it means not only, as I mentioned, determination or motivation, because it's focus on on oneself, but also this direction. So you mentioned the relations, and I was thinking about role models, just having the connection. So there were some complaints or voices that if women doesn't have role models in their younger ages, they do not take this STEAM journey. So my question will be right now about the myths about why women are not choosing this technical or era of collaboration or working and as a career, and what kind of myths you have find, and right now you can just say that they are not true and show different examples. Maybe Dorota.
Well. I think that there are a lot of myths why women have a little bit, tougher way or for their career in STEM than men. But again, I would like to maybe make a little, to show a little another perspective. Maybe it's because they don't want to be there. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not that someone doesn't allow them, make them career in STEM, mm-hmm. but maybe because they want to be board members, because they want to be on high levels of responsibility, maybe because they want to join their families with their work. So I'm saying I'm saying this not to, to say that there are no ambitions, but to say that not always it's because we can't, that someone told us that, okay, it's not for you, but sometimes it's because it's our choice, and we have to see the whole perspectives, not only that women are those without chances to develop themselves because they are very talented, but that's ugly man doesn't allow them make them the careers in STEM, but it's also because sometimes women are searching a balance between different roles in their life. So I would say that it depends on their choices. Yes, so yeah.
Okay, so it's very, very important to be self-aware and think about, your choices or not, okay?
Absolutely. I would add that sometimes they indeed may consciously decide not to go in that direction, but maybe because of some false assumptions. And I have two in mind that are very much connected. So one very old stereotype that women are too sensitive to go into this kind of career in this area, where actually I would say that the emotional intelligence is a strength that can be very much leveraged in this sector, because knowledge means really little if you can't connect with people. And moving to the other one, where I was recently discussing it with some new joiners in the IT team, that there is still this assumption that IT is mainly about coding, that this is so black and white, and just these hard skills matter. And this is so far away from the reality. If we take the digital hub here in Warsaw at Bayer, if you see the diversity of the roles that are being, for which the team is recruiting, where we have business analysts, system analysts, we have validation experts, we have product managers, product specialists, solution architects, digital leads, you name them. So this is so much more diverse, and it is so much about people, about discussing the needs of the business, inventing solutions together. And I think this is what we need to communicate. And this is the myth that we need to say that it's not true, it's so much more. Because then the young girls and women will see that, yeah, it's more, and they may find their place in that area, not maybe necessarily just pure programming, for example.
My question is how to make this younger aware of, the whole spectrum of different areas in IT. I have my personal experience. My son is just finishing his engineering school, and he asked me, Mom, which kind of school I should choose. I say, okay, you are good at maths, just do IT if you would like me to recommend. And then after 1 month, he mentioned, no, I will be not coding. It's not for me. But he was in the study and he discovered, the all possibilities. But he entered this journey. So his aim wasn't, bored or whatever else. He had no idea what to do. It was like, just try this one and you will discover. And what is your idea how to, encourage women? I know that this organization, this event is like this, just to enter, but do you have from your experience idea how to encourage women to discover these different parts?
So from my perspective, I also lead the Women in STEM community here at Bayer Poland. And this is one of the aspects that we are discussing, and it's part of our roadmap to really. So the vision of the community is for this company to be a great place to work for women, and for it to be recognized externally, which already includes the younger generation. But what we want to do, we want to also focus on schools, on universities. So it's not only the internship programs that we run here, where the students can come, can work and see how it looks like really, but cooperate with schools where we can talk about this. And I've been talking to some colleagues from different digital hubs and digital leads, and I can see that this is happening in other countries as well. Today I was talking to a colleague who was doing it in UK. and that was very successful. So I think step by step, if such initiatives will grow, we will spread the word.
Great. I come back to Kinga with the question about the myths, and I'm really interested about space. What are, how about women? Are they joining space, or there are some, afraid or just some drawbacks, entering this STEAM era?
I came to this meeting, to this debate, directly from Space Tech Expo Bremen, and I had this discussion with a colleague that I see the number of female decreasing. Usually in Central Europe, we were quite fine with the statistics. It wasn't 50-50, it was like 40 to 60, but the number is decreasing. And I'm not a technical person. I didn't graduate technical school. I had an experience in technical school during my scholarship. But what I wanted to say is that I didn't go to technical school because I'm lazy. And I thought, my sister is an engineer. So I saw her doing a lot of homework and a lot of preparation for tests. And I'm like, I can speak out everywhere and everyone. So I choose something that I don't have to learn that much, which was political science. But then I met actually a guy. I had a mentor at my first internship, and he told me like, Kinga, focus on technology. The other things are too easy for you. And this make me fly. This make me actually trust more in my skills and want to try. So what I recommend younger people is to try. You have so many possibilities during your high school time or your university time to join different associations, to join the student council, or to build something, to go to workshop, to take some classes. Try. You don't have to finish everything. If you've figured out, like your son, that you don't like programming, that's fine, but give you a chance to don't like something, to know more about yourself. So we are getting back to understanding ourselves. What I also find very, very helpful is to show up in class. And that's to like professionals, maybe mid-career people. Go to high school, go to elementary school, visit school of your kids or kids of your friends. Show what it means to work in specific area. And if you are a female, go there twice, because people need to see role models, and they need to understand what it means to work in specific area. That's why I talk a lot about space, because I feel like people don't understand what it means. And often it's the misperception that a rocket science, it's not for people, but yes, it is. We have this kind of scientists and entrepreneurs working even in Poland, so it's for everyone. It's nothing. You can do it step by step. What I also find very, very helpful when you want to attract younger talents or just encourage someone to take some steps, go to the competition. We have European Rover Challenge here in Poland. In every single country, there is some competition where you don't learn only about space. Space is easy to attract people. Everyone is interested in it, but you can go there, talk with professionals, see what it means to design a rover, or see what it means to actually design a spacecraft, and talk, ask questions, or just look. You don't have to be brave at the first moment. Ask a question, and then maybe you will be brave enough to track someone down on LinkedIn or Instagram or anything. And finally, the last thing, I promise, the last thing, at Hewlett Packard Enterprise, where I work at the beginning in Austria, they had this great program, a dinner, a female dinner. And every employee was able to invite a girl from high school for a dinner, for a networking, to learn more about technology. I mentioned the name of the company because it's not my bright idea, but I think it's so helpful. Your daughter of your friends has some friends, go there, talk, share. This is, I think, the power that we can, and the magic that we can do in our other's life.
If I may just add, so these baby steps, right? We don't need to have huge ambition plans how to reach out to everyone, but do it just organically. Start with something.
One person
Exactly.
a year, perfect. One person alive, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I must say that I totally agree, and it's very true what you say about inspiring but in other people. So these inspirations are very important, especially for young people. So just let yourself to be inspired by another. So just let yourself.
I think that, lots of inspiration. I think that I come back to, to this recording again just to get inspiration. But I have one hesitation about these baby steps. Because in June, I was in one engineering school in Krakow, and I asked women graduated there, who of you are thinking about the Nobel Prize in 20 years' time? And nobody was just hands up. And for me, it's like having a bold vision and thinking about that. It's not about, 80% of the, room I would expect to do that, but trying baby steps, but having the bold vision and thinking about the Nobel Prize. What's your, opinion about, encouraging young women to think bold and thinking about, getting, the Nobel Prize in the future?
I would say dream big, and what I would also advise is that go with the approach that it is safe to try. So it goes with this dream big, have these bold visions and ambitions, and it is safe to try, and it is okay to fail. And actually, as well, earlier today, I had a conversation with someone about the mindset and discussions that some experiments may fail. There is nothing like the failed experiment. There is only a lesson that, okay, this is not the way we should go. We need to change the approach. So it was still successful because we learned from it. And this is where you can dream big.
Okay. How about space? Are you imagining about Nobel Prize?
Well, I mentioned we should aim stars, or at least our star. So aiming big, it's very, very important. And but then baby steps get you to the sun. And you should. I'm a huge fan of flying high, but when you fly high, yes, sometimes you get a burn. And then you have this trusted person who have a glue or a bandage or anything to make you back again, the powerful person who is able to dream high again and fly. Whatever it takes, fly.
Oh, wow, so I think that the most important things was just said. So what can I add is be consistent. Don't let you be distracted, because it's very easy to be distracted by another chances, by failures also. So as you said, failures, making mistakes, this is something obvious, and it must be, because this is only way you can learn something new, right? So dreaming big is very important, but also crushing our own barriers, because the biggest barriers are in ourselves, very often in ourselves, there are mental barriers, there are imposter syndrome, being very critical against ourselves. So I think that the kind of, overcoming this kind of problem also is very helpful to get Nobel Prize.
Okay, so you touch, a very important topic like imposter syndrome, and how is your advice to build in women confidence in the male-dominated world, which is the STEM era?
Relations, other people. So don't stay alone with your thoughts. So just share your thoughts, meet other people, build good relations, because relations is something what can fit your heart. But this is one thing. The other thing is just observe the facts. Observe the what is happening around you. That there is always something which is better than you and something which has less disadvantages than you. So just observe the world and be calm. So just you don't have to be the best at the first sight, right? So, yeah.
And just to add on that, because I absolutely agree about the community and about the power of sharing and supporting each other. However, what we can also start with is really acknowledging that there is imposter syndrome, and it's just so common. So maybe reading more about it, seeing what are the mechanisms, how is it happening. So really tackling it from that perspective, and then again back to self-awareness, self-consciousness, learning and training. It requires a lot of training to be able to catch when this inner critic starts in your head. And so these are the first steps. And then once you are able to catch it, you can decide how do we approach it, whether you have this reactive mindset and you will be led by it and maybe you will step back from the opportunity, or actually you can treat this kind of voice in some paradox way as an ally, why is it there? To protect me. So, okay, I can listen to what this voice has to say, and then I can confront it, what you, Dorota, said, with facts. Okay, so what are the facts? And then I can decide, so what do I do in that? How do I mitigate those warnings that this critic gave me? And in the conscious way, react based on facts.
Great. Kinga?
I would say be polite to yourself. Spend a minute a day on appreciating yourself, what you achieved, what you liked about that day, how you behaved maybe. Maybe it would be something small, like I managed to do breakfast for my colleague or my family, or maybe I managed to eat breakfast myself. It doesn't have to be big, but be polite to yourself. And one, I would say, call to action for whoever has a strength and is in this world, give positive feedback. There's always something good to say. Sometimes if you cannot figure it out, something about the achievements or the speech or someone's action, like merit thing, it can be something easy like, oh, you show up today. That's great. Lovely to see you. Some small things are also important. That builds trust in ourselves.
Thank you. I will add one more thing. You mentioned about the teamwork and the relationship and collaboration. So this positive feedback within a team, sometimes it's really surprising if, we have a bad day, some, good feedback, unexpectedly from, unexpected areas like, eyes opening. Do I really have this trait? And somebody, put it as a positive one. So, so great. So I'll come to your professional era and ask about, some topics about your job. And I move to Eva with a question about the community you mentioned in the beginning. I'm wondering if you are running such community inside a company, inside Bayer, what is the business KPIs for, putting such organization inside the organization for women?
Thank you for this question. Very interesting one. And I would answer in a way that it's not for the corporation and it's not for the KPIs. The community is for the women in the organization. And this is the vision that the company is a great place to work for women. And it is recognized externally, meaning we encourage more women to come and we show that it's great to work here. So I would start with that. And how we do that? First of all, by building a strong community where we can really support each other, where we can empower each other, help each other to self-develop and grow. And of course, we can look at certain KPIs to see if we bring any value. I would be very conscious with that, not to lose our vision and our goal in any numbers. However, the two aspects we would look at would be the level of engagement, the interest in the activities, taking part in those activities. And on the other hand, something that is very important is this self-development. So these would be the two areas around which we actually are building some KPIs, but again, very carefully with not losing the women from the main stage of this community.
So great. Dorota, I move to you and a question about your startup and what are your tips for women who would like to invent or enter this era? Is it difficult because it's connected with many barriers that software houses do not have, such costs, production, logistics, supply chain, and so on? What are your tips for women in STEAM? Not to be afraid to enter this hardware innovation era.
Well, firstly, build a network, build the partnerships, have a lot of sponsors, mentors around you, invite another companies, cooperators, institutions, universities, departments to engage another, let's say players into your case, but not in your not your company, but why you do your company. So with the purpose. So I think that this is important thing. You can't be alone, because when you are staying alone, then you are losing probably your company, your business. So build as wide network as possible. See it as widely as if you can, because the idea, the how you think about your company, how you think about your presence in STEAM, because you never know when someone will hear you and will help you or will support you. So this is very important. The third thing is be visible. Be visible. People must know what you do, because how they can support your purpose if they don't know it? Yeah. Of course, I think that let's be more pragmatic. Use grants. Find international grants. Find international program. There are a lot of great program from women in STM. So find it and take part. And be present there. Because that could be very surprising for you, what can happen when you don't expect it.
Okay, I have to ask one more question about the networking, because everyone is talking just do network. And I know it's important, but young women or young people generally doesn't know how to start. What is important? Because we know, but what is your tips, especially for women in STM?
Well, to be concrete, for instance, there is such a foundation which supports startup ecosystems, which is called Startup Hub Poland. And it organized, this is quite fresh new program, it organized a special program from people which still study in high schools or which are in high schools, how to start a career exactly in the area of innovations or STEAM. So how to start with innovations, how to start with your own businesses. So there are special programs. Probably you need to just Google or ChatGPT and then we will find it. But this one I highly recommend you, because this foundation is very well experienced in helping startups and young people and young entrepreneurs to start their business, to develop their businesses. So there are many actually tools to help people in STEAM. So just try to find.
Okay, I think that's a good tip for them. Kinga, I come back to you with a question about the barriers at universities or problems. What can be done to encourage female to join the space industry, or what can be done from your perspective?
I highly hope or trust that talking about space, it will help. In Poland, we are just starting our space adventure, and we joined European Space Agency in 2012. That was the changing moment for us. So often people don't know what it takes, what kind of roles, what kind of technology is there. But we have so many means to find out, like open conferences. My association is organizing meetups, space meetups on different universities. There is Students' Council that is working next to president of Polish Space Agency, to who students can reach, because as you mentioned, the networking might be hard, especially when you see the professionals. You can also reach to students, for example, who took part in the competitions I mentioned before. Again, so many ways to find out, and I highly trust if someone is curious, try space. Maybe it's something for you, you will decide, but try it.
Great. We have 3 minutes left, and one sentence from your side that summarize, or just you have, the food for thought for young women or women to join STEAM. Dorota.
Well, your career it's not an exam. It's not something you can pass or fail. This is just a process. So just treat it as a series of experiments. You can be imperfect. It's important to try and to make things done.
Okay, thank you. Eva?
One pro tip, curiosity over fear. Really try to stop for a moment, not react immediately, and reframe this stress and fear into being curious about what the result will be.
Thank you. Kinga?
Be polite and find polite network, find polite organization. If you see something it's not working, people don't appreciate you or don't empower you, go. Find somewhere where you will feel comfortable.
Okay. Thank you very much for this debate and sharing I think that's a great experience. I think that it was not easy, tips, but also from your experience. And I think that I also take some ideas for myself and for my business. I think that what is important, what you mentioned, is that business, technology, and academia is collaborating. It's about, teamwork, is having, the common goal, the collaboration, also taking care about ourselves and our mental health and be prepared for the future, what is changing. And I think that the great idea is about trying. It's not being afraid, but also trying and then deciding, because we can have different, choices. Even if it's not STEAM, it can just take different path for ourselves.